Okay, Google, stop music. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to a very relaxed and chilled out video. Today I'm going to be recording my Q&A. I asked you guys both on YouTube and Instagram for your burning questions, and there was quite a few, I have to say, especially on Instagram. Like, I was shocked at how many more I got on Instagram rather than YouTube, but I guess not everybody checks the community tab, and that's the only real way you can ask questions unless you do it in a video. So I have a fair few here, and I have some really good ones actually. There's a mixture of like foodie stuff, WW, family, myself and Andrew, things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get started. So grab a cuppa. I have a feeling this one's gonna be a long one, hence the very chilled out casual outfit and a nice big mug of tea. And I'm just gonna get started. By the way, for anyone who is wondering, my t-shirt is from Primark. It was about £4. I love it. It's got the slogan across the top which says "Felt cute, might delete it later." Slogan of my life. And my combats are from New Look, and I love them. They're so comfy and warm, and I think they're going to be great for summer as well because they're not cropped, but they kind of can be, if that makes sense. So yes, as soon as I got the bulk of questions on Instagram, I feel like it makes sense to start there, and then I will filter my way through to the YouTube questions. But I'm just going to get started. I hope you all enjoy it and enjoy learning a little bit more about me. Lolissima8, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce the names right, by the way, but I will try. And it says, how did you manage to stop yourself from overindulging in sweets and chocolate at first? I feel like I've always had, ever since I started on WW, I always had that mindset of, this is my daily kitty, these are my points, and I'm not gonna overindulge over that limit. I've always been quite good at self-control. I feel like even when I had my weight gain, a lot of that was due to just not actually paying attention to things and letting things just let them go, really. I didn't actually focus on it. When I focus on something and when I set my mind to something, I'm actually quite determined and I have an amazing self-control. So for me, it wasn't too difficult, if I'm completely honest, and I didn't restrict myself. If I wanted a treat, I had it. I just had it within my dailies, I had it within my weeklies, and that made it really easy to stick to. What are your favourite videos to watch on YouTube? Okay, so my favourite videos to watch are vlogs for sure. I really like vlogs. It might surprise you guys to learn that I actually don't watch a lot of channels. I think I must be subscribed to about 10 to 15 people, which on the grand scheme of YouTube isn't that many. Rihanna Ashley is probably my favourite when it comes to her videos. I just find them really calming and relaxing and lovely to watch. Her vlogs just make me really happy, so I enjoy watching those. Lisa's channel I really like. From Lisa, I think her name is Prido. I'm not too sure how you pronounce her surname, if I'm honest, but she's a friend of mine, and I love watching her videos as well, although I only recently came across her and I've been enjoying her videos. I like We Are Twin Set, Philippa and Sarah. That's a fashion channel which I'm really interested in. Cupcake Gemma, obviously, because I love to bake. And that's pretty much it. Like, I don't watch a ton of channels, but those are my favourite types of videos to watch on my favourite channels. This next one is also from Tess, and she asks, what is your favourite meal and snack? So my favourite meal has to be one of my Middle Eastern meals that I have when I go home and when I bother to cook it, because it is quite tricky. But it's called marag, and marag is kind of like a tomatoey casserole with lamb and okra. We call it bamia in Arabic, but it's a really delicious dish. It's so hard to describe, but that would be my favourite. I also love pizza. I feel like you cannot go wrong with pizza. When it comes to snacking, I love to snack on fruit. I know it might sound boring, but I really love fruit, and that would be my #1 snack if I was craving something. I'd get some blackberries, an orange, something like that, a banana. I don't tend to snack loads, but when I do, I tend to gravitate towards the fruit. The next question is, do people you know in real life watch your videos, example school mums, etc., and how is this for you? So I'm not gonna lie, there are a few people now that watch my videos in the playground at school, a few mums that have come across my channel. It's a mixture, to be honest. I feel quite shy about it, but also I'm really proud of it, and I'm happy that it's kind of filtering, because when you get people from your hometown watching, you know that actually your channel is getting to a wide reach of people. It's not just someone sat in London or America or in Canada or somewhere like that. It's quite close to home, which in some ways can be quite intimidating because they're watching you, they know what you're up to, but also it's so nice because they'll come over to me in the playground and they'll say, I watched your most recent video, I'm making your curry tonight, or I really found that video helpful, or I loved your outfit in that video. And it's really nice. I've not had any negative feedback when it comes to people in real life on my channel. My family kind of watch it. My mum watches every single video. She's so sweet. My siblings aren't really into YouTube. They're not really into that scene. And if they were, this isn't the kind of content that they would be watching. So I don't think they watch my videos, although they're very supportive of it. They are lovely. Andrew doesn't really watch my videos because he's not too interested in it. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, and I kind of feel quite shy about it, but actually as the channel is growing and as my confidence is growing, I just feel really proud and really happy. So yeah. The next question kind of ties into that, and it's, what do your children think about you doing YouTube and social media? So my children are still very, very young, so they don't really have an opinion on it yet. Harrison hasn't really took too much notice to it anyway. Harrison has autism, so he's very much on his own agenda, very much concentrating on what he's doing and what he likes to do, as opposed to worrying about what others are doing. But he loves YouTube, and he thinks it's very cool that my numbers keep growing up. He actually told me the other day, he was like, "Mummy, you have 28,000 subscribers. That's amazing." And it was just so cute. Layla watches a few of my videos. Layla's really proud of it. Layla thinks I'm famous. It's quite funny. So she'll say, "My mummy's on the television. My mummy's in a magazine." It's so cute. She's really proud of it. She's really sweet about it. But I'm also very protective of them, so I don't share them overly on my channel. Like, they're in a few vlogs here and there and everything like that, but I feel like I'm quite guarded when it comes to the kids. But they're happy, they're really well balanced, and they don't really have an opinion about it yet, although I'm sure as Layla grows especially, she might have more of an opinion about it than Harrison does. I think Harrison will just not really care, to be quite honest. So the next question I think is from Joe Alexis, and she asks, how do you counter your anxiety and stress? Sometimes mine stops me from doing what I want to do. Oh my goodness, I mean, I can relate to that on so many levels. My anxiety is not great, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's a huge part of my life. It has a huge impact on me as well. What I try to do is I try to manage it as best as possible, but sometimes it kind of just manifests and grows and I struggle to deal with it. In times like that, I just surround myself with family, love, food, comfort, and I stay at home and just be in my comfort zone and do things I like to do. It does stop me from time to time. It stops me doing certain things, but I am trying really hard to now start rationalising risk and rationalising my fears and the reason things stop me, and trying to dissect it a little bit more. I am getting better. It's doing a lot better than it was, but I think it's something I'm always going to have. It's been part of my life since I was a child. I've always been a worrier. I've always stressed out. I've always been super punctual because of it. I don't like lateness. I don't like things going off course and off track. It's just part of my life, and it's who I am. It does affect me. I have my coping mechanisms to deal with it. If you want to see a video all about how I deal with stress and anxiety and what I do to relax myself and comfort myself and self-soothe in a way, let me know down below, because I could definitely film something like that for you in the future. Okay, the next question is from www.health.247, and she asks, what do you think about cafes and restaurants that serve huge portion sizes, and how do you handle it? I just eat what I want to eat. I don't focus too much on what's on my plate. If there's less on it than I would like, I eat more. I ask for more. Get another portion, get another side order, something like that. And if it's a massive portion, I don't feel obligated to eat it just because I'm in a restaurant or just because I paid for it. I deal with it as everyone else would. When I'm hungry, I eat, and when I'm not, I don't. I'm not too fussed by it, to be quite honest. Do you like to read? And if so, what are your favourite books? I'm not a big reader, if I'm honest. I used to be as a child. I used to love to read so much. But as I've got older, my time has become more restricted, and I don't have a lot of free time, so I don't read as much as I would like. However, when I do, I like to read self-help books, and I also like to read about events that have happened. Like, I'm really interested in reading things about the Titanic. I'm really interested in reading about occasions that have been. Nothing too horrific. Like, I have a tolerance that isn't that strong for history and things that have happened in the past. Like, you know, all of that Nazi movement and everything. Like, I can't read much about that, or much about like gangster culture and that kind of thing, but I do like to read, but it's very light, soft reading, and I don't read too often, if I'm completely honest, just because I don't really get the time, and when I do, I'm editing or I'm doing something that I much prefer to do than read. So that is the answer to that question. The next question is from Deepika Mender, and she asks, would you also share what you make for your kids, your food always looks so yummy already. My kids, for the most part, eat what we eat, but when they don't like it, or if it's an issue for texture with Harrison and things like that, or strong taste, I just whip them up something else. Like, I'll do them homemade chicken nuggets, homemade pizza, pasta, tuna pasta bake, bolognese, sausage and mash. Like, I'm always making things for them. Rice and chicken, rice and noodles, something like that. I whip up loads for them. I know I keep promising, but I will do a what my kids eat in a day very soon. It's, again, just finding the time to fit everything in, but I do intend to do that video for sure very soon. As you mature, what changes have you seen in your skincare? I'm completely honest, I've not really seen many changes. I thought when I hit my 30s I might get less blemishes, but actually it's just the same. It's nowhere near as much, but yeah, I've not really noticed a difference in my skin. Obviously I have smile lines now, which I'm not overly thrilled about, but I'm gonna grow old gracefully, guys. Like, I'm not too bothered. I kind of think that when I get to the grandma stage and I'm going grey, I'm gonna rock it like Meryl Streep in A Devil Wears Prada. I'm gonna have like a short, bobby, messy grey kind of thing going on, wear a ton of bronzer, a ton of red lipstick, and just own it. And I think it's gonna be great. Okay, so the next question I have is from MiaPia24, and she asks, do you pre-plan your meals for lunch and dinner, or go with what you have available in the fridge? It varies, if I'm honest. If I have stuff in the fridge that needs eating, I hate waste, so I'll always try to incorporate that into my meal. For example, if I'm doing a casserole or a curry, I will check my fruit and veg drawer and put everything in it. Sometimes, however, I like to plan. I like to know what I'm having, or I fancy something, and in that case I will have all my ingredients ready. But it varies. I mean, I would like to say it's a really decent mixture of both, but I would say I tend to eat more of what I fancy, to keep my food interesting, to keep myself less likely to order a takeaway. But when things need eating in the fridge, I do eat them as a priority. Okay, so the next question comes from Kaylee_weight_loss_journey, and she says, do you ever have days where you binge eat? No, I don't. I've never really been a binge eater, or what I would consider as a binge habit or eater. I will link my video that I've done on binge eating above in case you haven't seen it, and that kind of goes into how I feel about it, my habits, what I think. But I've never been a binge eater. I've eaten massive portions in excess, but I've never had that cause of events where something's led to another and it's a complete loss of control. Like, I've always been in control of what I've eaten, which is why I was mentioning before about self-control, and about like willpower and determination. I've always intended to do something. Like, it's never just how has this happened kind of thing. But I don't really binge eat, and I never have, so no, not really, if I'm completely honest. The next question is from Glasgow_girl_Colleen, and she asks, how did you decide what your goal weight would be? Love your channel. Thank you so much. I actually didn't know. At first I set it as something I felt was realistic. So when I started my weight loss journey, I was 12 stone 2 or 12 stone 4. I can't really remember now. It's been a while. But I think I set my target as about 11 stone or 10.5 stone. I felt like it was really manageable for me, and it was a decent amount of weight. But as my journey went on, it got easier, which is rare really. I think I just got into the swing of it. Everything just fell into place, and I was just so used to the lifestyle that it kept getting less and less and less. And right now my weight stands anything between 8 stone 1 and 8 stone 3. I'm happy with that. I think it's good for me. It's healthy. So yeah, I didn't really have a set decision. I've just gone with the flow and listened to my body and done what was in my capability. But I would have been just as happy if I'd have got to my 10 stone. Like, it wouldn't have bothered me. That would have been an achievement in itself. So I would always say, just be realistic in your expectation, especially at first, like going into it. Don't set yourself a crazy target, because it becomes really overwhelming and hard to stick to. So the next question comes from Slimming with Becky, and she asks, how do you cope with the times when you mindlessly snack or just need a big fat bit of chocolate? I'm going to be honest, I have a big fat bit of chocolate every day. I guess what I consider a big fat piece of chocolate may vary. Everyone's portion control is different. Everyone has a different amount of chocolate, and that's absolutely okay. What I would say is I'm very mindful of how much chocolate I eat. I don't overeat chocolate just because it's not fantastic for me. But again, there are times, especially when I'm on my period, where I crave sugar, I crave that chocolate. And in those times, if I want a full bag of Maltesers, I'll absolutely eat it. I just factor it in. I think I'm just really forgiving of myself. I'm really realistic in my expectations, and I don't make myself feel bad if I want to eat half a Toblerone. It's just one of those things. It's life. When you have a bad day, you'll have a better day, and then it counterbalances. So yeah, when I want a lot of chocolate, I have it. and I'm just really kind to myself, and I don't give myself too much of a hard time about it. The next question is, how do you decide on decluttering? I don't have a lot of clutter around. You might disagree, you might be like mega uber sleek and just nothing on your counter, but everything I have is an organised chaos. But don't tell Andrew I said that, because he says I like to live in clutter. Okay, so the next question comes from Jennifer1679. Do you count calories? No, I don't. Okay, the next question is from Serena's FND Fight. And she says, I love to know your top 5 kitchen equipments whilst following WW. That's a really good question. My number 1 is digital scales. You have to have digital scales, not the ones that have the dial. They're just not reliable. I like to know exactly what I'm eating, especially when I was at the beginning and midst of my journey, like going through it to lose weight. Digital scales, absolute must. Cast iron pots and pans, so you can put them on the hob into the oven for batch cooking, meal prepping. Good storage boxes, Tupperware, that kind of thing. I would also say pretty mugs. I love my mugs. I wouldn't say it's an essential, but I would definitely say it's something that I spend money on and I love. And I would also say a decent set of knives and chopping board. Those would be my main essentials. I think if I could choose more than 5, I would definitely choose my stand mixer and my Magimix processor, but I could do by hand what I use those machines for, so I wouldn't. I'm surprised I've chosen mugs over my stand mixer, if I'm honest. In fact, let me switch mugs for stand mixer, because that's way more important. But I love all my kitchenware, guys. Like, you'll know, I get a lot of questions about my kitchenware, and it's so nice that you guys love it. So the next question is from Rabail BK. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. But she says, also love watching your videos. Do you have any plans to have more children? No, we don't. No more children for us. In fact, we've made that very final decision on Andrew's part to not have any more children and not have to worry about contraception and little surprises and little accidents and anything like that. For men it's reversible, so if he ever decided he changed his mind about it, he could have it reversed. But for us as a couple, we are done with children. We're happy having one of each, Harrison and Layla, and yeah, no plans to have any more children, so we're definitely sure that we're not doing that. The next question is, what is your ethnicity? So I get asked this a lot. I feel like it's because I guess I don't look fully English. You guys will know my mother is fully English, but my dad is fully Iraqi, so I'm of Middle Eastern heritage. And yeah, it's really cool, it's really interesting, it's a great talking point, and it's nice to have 2 sets of cultures, 2 sets of different backgrounds to come from, and it's just really interesting. The next question comes from Ashley_Slater, and she asks, what are your tips for maintaining a healthy and happy relationship? So just a bit of a background for my relationship. Andrew and I have been together for 16 years this year. We met when I was 19. I'm going to be 34 this year, so we've been together a really long time and we're super happy. I love him more now than I ever have, which is so nice. I think the key to a lasting relationship is to laugh a lot, to talk, to be kind to each other, to still go out of your way for each other even when you're tired, and show each other that you care, and little gestures and that kind of thing. And it's also to understand that you're not going to have a perfect relationship. Like, there are going to be times when you agree to disagree, there are going to be times when that person really frustrates and annoys you, but I think it's all about balance, it's all about compromise, and it's all about just having that mutual love, respect and understanding, and that compassion for that person, that it just makes your heart sing. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I'm super happy. I'm very happy in my relationship, and I'm very lucky for it. Andrew is just one of a kind. Never met anyone like him. Puts me first in every single situation. I've never met someone as selfless. I've never met someone that dislikes Andrew. Like, in a whole circle of friends, in a whole family or colleagues or anywhere he's ever worked, everyone just loves Andy Allen. You can't not like him or love him. He's just one of those people that people instantly love. He's gorgeous. I love him so much. So communication is key though, and that mutual understanding, and understanding that it's okay to have differences, it's okay to have your own time apart and things like that. I mean, we don't have too much time apart, but you know, it's okay to have your own interests and not be the same person. We're not the same kids that we were when we fell in love all those years ago. We're quite different now, and it's nice to grow with each other and learn about each other again. So yeah, I would definitely just say those are my main tips that I have, and yeah, I feel really lucky. The next question comes from Kathy Curry 1965, and she asks, how difficult did you find it initially? What changes have you made to your diet? So I'm guessing she means how difficult did I find WW? I think for the first 2 weeks, while my body was in shock mode, getting used to the new calories that I was having and the new portion control, it was tricky. But I think I was so excited for the challenge, I was so excited for the lifestyle, that kind of overrided any feelings that I had of negativity. So I found it tricky. The portion control shift was huge for me. I was having massive portions before, so that was quite hard. But it wasn't anything that struck a chord with me. Like, I didn't think, oh my god, how am I going to do this? And the changes that I initially made was, again, weighing things out on my digital scale to get accurate readings of what I was having, switching things up for healthier alternatives, so learning about my food, learning about alternatives, for example, rice, cauliflower rice, switching things that were better, just learning more about food and making smarter choices, I would say, was the first shifts that I made. And yeah, I've never really looked back, and I still do that now, even in maintenance. The next question comes from allthings.neuro, and she says, not related, but you're amazing inside and out. That is so nice. Honestly, that's quite embarrassing that I've just read that out. Okay, the next question is from... Okay, so I have a few from the same person. It's from www.sparkles_food_diary. And she says, I love your YouTube channel and I love your stories. You have a beautiful family. Thank you so much. Is there anything you would do differently with starting your weight loss again? Absolutely not. I feel like everything fell into place, and everything I did, I would do 100% again. The only thing I would say is, when going into it initially, I wouldn't look at it as a diet at all. When I first went into it, I did very much see it as a diet, but I think as the time went on, I looked at it more as a lifestyle, and it just lifted that pressure off my shoulders, especially when it comes to now maintaining. The next question is, can I ask you how you stay motivated at the start? I think I've kind of answered that. I'm just a motivated person generally. When I want something, that motivates me. And obviously the physical changes I could see, the health benefits that I could feel, everything played a part. Have you got any tips on portion control, please? I've done a full video on portion control. I'll link that above. The next question comes from V Rapey, and she asks, what's the heaviest you've ever been on previous attempts at WW? So I have tried WW once before, years and years and years ago, like years and years ago, when I first had Harrison, like just after, and I think at my heaviest I was 14 stone 2, which, considering now I'm 8 stone 1 to 2, it's a massive difference and a massive shift. But yeah, that was my heaviest that I've been. The next question is from Ank35B, and she asks, have you thought about being a WW ambassador? You would be great. Thank you so much. No, I haven't. I feel like it's just very time consuming, and I barely have time for the activities that I do now, but it would be quite cool, something I'd be open-minded to. I mean, I am a WW ambassador, but I'm thinking you mean like one that does groups and one that actually gets paid to do it. I do get paid certain parts from WW, like I get paid for certain events, like being in the magazine, the podcast, that kind of thing, but I'm not consistently paid by WW, so yeah. I don't know, we'll see what the future holds. The next one is, will you be doing any more kitchen renovations? We've just finished, so we're not putting in a new kitchen or anything like that, but we've done a lot of painting, so yeah, that's the situation on that. By the way, if I've not read names out, it's because the question askers wanted to remain anonymous. The next question is, how far do you walk each day and how long does it take you? So I walk to school and back 4 times a day. So I take Layla, I walk back home, and then I go and pick up Layla and I walk back home, unless it's raining and I'll take the car. But each journey, I would say, it takes me about 12 to 15 minutes each way, so I do that 4 times a day, and yeah, it doesn't take me very long, and it's a great way to get some exercise. And then the last Instagram question is Zumba or spinning. I'm gonna say neither, because I've never been to Zumba, so I can't really answer that question. And spinning, I positively loathe it. Like, I've tried it a couple of times and I feel dead as soon as I get home, so it's just not for me. So I'm gonna switch over to my YouTube questions now. I'm just getting them up on my community tab. The first one is by Heather Poole, and she asks, how do you stay motivated all the time? My journey, I find it's sometimes very hard, and it's hard to stay focused and stay motivated. I've actually done a video on motivation. It seems like a lot of you are interested in how I keep the momentum going and things like that, so I'll link that video above because I've kind of answered that already. The next question is from Soli Quay. Sorry about that if I'm not pronouncing it right. And she says, where are you from? New sub here, so I'm not sure if it's been addressed. So I'm from the UK, United Kingdom, and heritage-wise, I mentioned that before. So, but yeah, I'm from England, Manchester specifically. The next question is from Julie Palmer, and she says, I remember in a past video you talked about trying to read more books this year. Have you done so? If you have, what books have you read? And also, are there any cookbooks you recommend? So Nigel Slater cookbooks I love. They're the only real ones I use. Nigel Slater, Nigella Lawson, and I like the Chrissy Teigen Cravings book. It's just a lovely book. But no, I haven't done much reading. I've read one book recently, which is the one that I mentioned a few favourites ago, which is Everything is Figure-Outable. Found it okay. And no, I've not really read much more, sadly. The next question is from Lynn Crooks, and she asks, have you found that your family are supportive of your journey, mum, dad, etc.? And did they ever give you a hard time? So this is an interesting question, and I'm not gonna lie about it. My mum and dad want me to put a bit more weight on. They're used to me at a much bigger size, so now seeing me at quite small framed, every time I see them they're trying to feed me up and they're quite worried. But actually what they don't realise is they're surrounded by people that have been overweight or are overweight, so it's quite a contrast, it's quite a shock to them when they see me. Plus sometimes I'll go a couple of weeks without seeing them and then they see me and it's a bit of a shock. They've been supportive to an extent, but they're also parents and they worry and they want to feed me up, so it's kind of been a mixed bag. Sometimes they're like, oh, you've done amazing, but there's always a but, could you put a bit of weight on, which I understand. It's probably what I would say to Harrison and Layla if I'm completely honest, but you know your own body. NHS standards, I'm absolutely fine for my height. For anyone who is wondering, I'm 5'5", so completely within a healthy BMI. But yeah, it's kind of been varied, not gonna lie. So the next question and the last question for this epically long Q&A is from Louise, and she asks, if you could pick one of your favourite meals, what would it be? So I mentioned before that my all-time favourite meal is an Arabic dish or a Middle Eastern dish called bamia, which is okra, ladyfingers, and like a lamb tomato garlicky casserole. Like, it's just mega. You have it with rice, it's just the one. But if I was going to pick something that was a little less specific or a little bit more mainstream, I would say probably pizza or a burger. You cannot go wrong with pizza or a burger. But then I do love a cheese and onion pie as well. Oh, I'm gonna say pizza. I'm gonna say pizza, guys. So I hope you all enjoyed learning a little bit more about me in this Q&A. If you do have any further questions that I've not answered, pop them in the comments box down below. I'll make sure I answer them for you, or perhaps I'll do another Q&A very, very soon. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!